Tonight, we're going to dig into something really interesting. We're looking at how a Texas city decided to tackle the huge challenge of making its nightlife safer. Not with more force, but with a radical new idea all about partnership. So, how'd they pull it off? Let's get into it. It's the classic problem for any city, right? How do you make sure people can go out and have an amazing time, but also make sure everyone gets home safe? Well, Fort Worth, Texas was staring this problem right in the face. And they knew the old playbook, just adding more police, it just wasn't going to cut it anymore. So let's paint a picture here. What was actually happening on the ground in Fort Worth? Well, like a lot of busy cities, its popular spots, especially the West 7th District, were facing some, let's just say, serious challenges after dark. The problems were getting pretty concerning. Business owners were worried about alcohol-fueled fights and even the possibility of shootings. Outside on the streets, you had reckless and impaired driving, cars peeling out, racing, you get the idea. And inside the venues themselves, the security practices were all over the place, which meant small issues could escalate into big ones fast. So the city decided enough is enough. They had to make a big change. Instead of just reacting after something bad happened, they decided to get out ahead of the problems by completely rethinking how they approached public safety. The old way was just wait for a problem, make an arrest. As one police lieutenant put it, it was just outdated. The new way, it's all about being proactive. It's about building relationships, creating partnerships between the city and businesses, and stopping trouble before it even starts. Now, this new philosophy has a name, the Proactive Alliance. And this isn't just some fluffy, let's all be friends idea. It's a real, specific method that's actually rooted in fields like psychology and social work. The whole point is to teach city agencies how to build genuine trust, to earn cooperation instead of just demanding it. It's all about empathy and partnership. And they did not waste any time. This whole transformation happened fast. It all kicked off with a plan in late 2023. By the next spring, they were already on the ground collecting data. Just a few months after that, boom, they had their recommendations. And by March of 2025, the whole program was officially up and running. Okay, so before you can fix a problem, you have to know exactly what you're dealing with. So the first step was some serious detective work. They had to move past just guessing and use actual data to figure out not just where the problems were, but the really big question, why they were happening. To do that, they brought in a pretty high-tech tool called Risk Terrain Modeling, or RTM. The best way to think of it is like a crime MRI. It doesn't just show you hotspots on a map, it actually digs deeper and analyzes the specific things in the environment, like bad lighting or no good place for rideshares to pick up, that make crime more likely. This let them get super precise with their solutions. So all of that data, that new philosophy, it all came together in one big central idea, the heart of their new strategy. They called it the Golden Lasso program. So what is the Golden Lasso? Well, it's basically a seal of approval for bars and restaurants. It's completely free and totally voluntary. When you see that logo, it's a signal that this place has committed to a higher standard of safety. It's a really clear, visible way for a business to show that they're part of the solution. And how does it work? It's pretty straightforward. A bar decides, yep, we want in. Then they work to meet the program standards across a few key areas. Public safety, fire codes, that kind of thing, but also being a good community partner. Once they hit that standard, they get to display the logo, letting everybody know they're a Golden Lasso spot. And what's really important here is that this wasn't the city forcing something on businesses. The businesses themselves were key partners. As the president of the local restaurant and bar association said, that logo is a direct message to customers that we're all working together to keep this place safe. That's real buy-in. Okay, so this all sounds great on paper, right? A new philosophy, a cool logo, but here is the million-dollar question. Did it actually work? Did all this collaboration actually deliver real results? The answer is a huge yes, and the numbers, they're staggering. Let's just start with public intoxication. That's a key thing that often lights the fuse for bigger problems. In the West 7th District, incidents dropped by 54%. 54! That's more than cut in half. And the impact on personal safety? Even more dramatic. Get this. Simple assaults, we're talking your typical bar fights, they plummeted by an incredible 61%. 61! People were just flat out safer. And then look at this. This is the big one. The most serious violent crimes, Aggravated assaults saw a massive 76% decline. 76%. That's not a small improvement. That is a profound shift that absolutely saved people from serious harm.
Here's the data that's behind those huge numbers. I mean, you can see for yourself the drop across the board. Every single key offense they were targeting went down. Look at aggravated assaults, from 13 down to just 3. It's just clear proof that if you can prevent the small stuff, you can stop the really big, violent stuff in its tracks.
Their old enforcement-only model was outdated. This new collaborative approach is paying significant dividends. You really can't get a stronger endorsement than that. So, with this kind of incredible success right out of the gate, this is clearly just the beginning for Fort Worth. So, the big question is, where does this innovative model go from here?
Well, this isn't a one-and-done project. The city is already expanding the Golden Lasso program and this whole proactive alliance philosophy to other entertainment districts, including the iconic stockyards. And they kind of have to, because they're getting ready to welcome millions of people from around the world for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
And that leaves us with one final, really powerful question. By shifting from enforcement to collaboration, from just reacting to crime to actually preventing it, did Fort Worth just clean up its own nightlife, or did it create a brand new blueprint for how to build safer, more vibrant cities everywhere?